Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. It is Tracy coming to you live from New Hampshire Writers Project headquarters, and I am here with Wendy Jensen. How are you, Wendy?
I'm good.
I'm really glad to have you here, and I'm excited to learn about your book today. You are the very first author being featured in our holiday showcase, so I'm very excited for you. And for anybody watching today who is not familiar with what the Holiday Showcase is, it is a wonderful collection of our member authors' books in an online site that we have put on our website, featuring them, talking about um, just what the inspiration is behind the books. It's got all the covers and all the information you need to support our local member authors if that is something that you're looking to do this holiday season by giving a unique book as a gift. So we're going to learn a little bit more about Wendy today and her book, which is But I Already Said Goodbye. It is a fiction book, and she has a really interesting story here, something that's near and dear to my heart, which is animal welfare. So, Wendy, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your book to get us started, that'd be wonderful.
Well, the book is about Amber, and I call it animal welfare because it takes place in the 1980s. We didn't really talk about animal rights, at that point, even though I'm a firm believer of them. So, Amber is somebody who decides that she can actually do pretty well in this new organization, helping all animals. And she's kind of thrown into it because when she first goes in for her interview, the organization is about to rescue a whole bunch of animals from a hoarder's house. She had about 50, 75 cats there. And so the interviewer said, "Oh, they need another body or two. Can you go?" And so she's thrown right into it. And that's the opening scene. And we meet her buddy. I don't want to give it away, but there's the other character in the story is a tomcat, and he's somebody that kind of gets her back on her feet, and he's one of the rescues. So we go jump right into the whole world of people that are so sad that they want to keep their animals forever, and then what happens to the animals. It's not good for animals or people. And it's based on my work in the animal rights field that I did after I left veterinary medicine for not completely left. I was still working on the weekends, but I left veterinary medicine to work on the nonprofit sector. And so I jumped into things just like this, rescue operations, protests, even legislative actions. And it was a real eye opener. I thought at first these people were nuts, wild, and they must hate people. Well, man, that isn't true at all. They love animals. They love people too. And so it's about that experience, but I created a character and her relationship with her own family. So it's how through helping animals, she starts realizing that she needs some attention too. She needs to tend to herself.
Ah,
So kind of
interesting.
a mixture of two different loves, the love of people and the love of animals or
Well, and you
non-human.
obviously have a great expertise and background in this. Thank you so much for being in the veterinary field. Such an important um, profession, and so you've got some great expertise there. And so I have to imagine, through your years as being a veterinarian, you've had some inspiration, some interesting characters who have come along. Any of them play a role in your book?
There, it not specifically, but certainly having met the people that would do anything for their animal, that's close to my heart. Then the people that don't care. I've met the other side as well because they're having someone else bring in the animal for their yearly exam, for example. So I've seen the whole range, including the veterinarians that care so deeply and the ones that are getting into it too far and get burnt out. I've seen that whole range.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all too familiar with that in the compassion arena. As many people know, that I run a dog adventure company by day, New Hampshire Writers Project by night. So I'm very familiar with that profession and just the amazing work that they do. So again, thank you for that. So, is there like a favorite passage or scene or something in the book that particularly stands out to you and might stand out to other readers?
Yes, I go back to that first scene where Amber is told, oh, I think I saw a cat run back into that back room. We need to get him. And so she decides to go back, and she's weaving her way through the piles of magazines, and the smell and the heat is just beating her down. But she bends down and looks underneath a old ripped up couch. You know, the underside of them can get ripped and it hangs down. And she hears a growl. And that's when she sees Tom. He's a tomcat, and he's got a missing eye. He's got an old injury. But something in her heart is so impressed by he's little. I mean, he's a cat. He's a powerful Tom, but he's not a very big animal. And yet he's going to fight to the end to be okay, keep himself safe. And she thought, that's a lot of power in that little body. And how can I help him without harming him? And it starts turning inside of her own head. How can I help myself? Because things that are happening with her in her own life. So she does get him. She learns how to capture him, and learns how to use the snare,
Yep.
without harming him. It goes over one leg, but it's still very scary. But she gets him safely in the carrier, and the story takes off from there. That's I think that's my favorite scene. There's a lot.
I can see why that would be, especially, when you're dealing with the resilience of pets and how quick they are to trust, especially if they've been in a history of abuse or something like that.
Yes.
I'm really interested. I love this angle with her, bonding in a way with these pets and then finding resilience in herself at all. And I don't know if you want to talk too much more about that, or if there's some underlying themes or something that came into you creating this book with resiliency, either in your own life or with people around you. Is that something you want to explore a little bit more with us?
Sure. As part of also the other half of me that went into this novel is my as a result of my work as advocacy as an advocate for crisis centers. I've done hotline interviews, or hotline times. I've spent time on the hotline for people. I've helped get people settled into shelters. I've seen firsthand the terror of the woman that's trying to find a safe place. She's left her apartment, she's left her husband, and he's after her. I've seen that in firsthand. So to me, it's really not any different. We should treat our animals as well as we try and treat ourselves. And both species that can be suffering. So what I've seen through that also went into this novel. And Amber discovers the people around her that are loving the animals so much also are looking after themselves, their parents, their spouses, their children, and it's all meshed together. Sure, we have bad people on both sides, but we have very amazing people that care about what matters most.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So that's what the story's about. Yeah.
Well, and I love how you made the distinction about animal welfare versus animal rights today. And in the industry, we've come so far with our learning and understanding. Explain to me, what was the impetus for having it set in the 1980s?
That way was just easier for me as somebody older trying to write a book about technology and all the things you can find out on the computer. I was like, I could avoid that by just going, past into the past where we didn't have a phone on our hip.
Yep.
And so that was part of it. And also it's more, I didn't want to get into the political aspect of animal rights and how it's just not where my heart lies. It's more, let's keep them safe. And so I went into an area or a time that I was familiar with and I could tell a story with without leaving things out that I didn't understand. That's it. It was just really for ease of writing. And I've lived in New Mexico too, so.
Well, it is the best decade. I mean, we have to admit that. The 80s. I mean, come on now. So I was just so excited because that was, my teenage years. So
okay, yeah, yes.
So I was curious about that. So tell me, who would be the perfect target, the perfect reader for this book when we're talking a gift? If someone's thinking, who in my family, would enjoy this kind of story, tell me a little bit about the target audience.
That would be the young adult or the older adult that deeply cares about cats or dogs. There are some horses in here, but mostly it's a cat and a dog story. Also, the ones who do some advocacy with people, domestic violence. They might find it very interesting of how one woman back then, when we didn't think much about domestic violence back then. Now, not being in the field, I could be missing something, but it certainly wasn't as upfront as center. Of course, it needs to be more than it is now. And so it woke her up. So people that are looking into how can you heal? What are the resources? What is it like? How much is hidden away? And that will get your heart.
I agree. It's already gotten mine. I appreciate you sharing that. So again, for anyone who's not familiar with the Holiday Showcase, you can learn more about it at the New Hampshire Writers Project website, which is on the ticker below. It's nhwritersproject.org. You'll see a banner on our homepage. It'll take you to the showcase where we have more than 55 authors already displaying their books. And if you're wondering, what's that unique gift I'm going to give this year to someone in my life who loves to read, or even if they don't, but they love animals or some of the other themes that we're going to be talking about over the next couple of weeks, this is a great place to shop to support local authors and the literary community. And we definitely appreciate your support. Today we're talking with Wendy Jensen, who is the author of But I Already Said Goodbye. And Wendy, where can people learn a little bit more about you, and where can they buy the book? Obviously they can go directly to the Holiday Showcase and they can purchase through a link there. But if they're out and about in their local bookstores, can they find you as well?
I believe, yes, the local bookstore in Concord is stocking it, but I should have checked that before to be sure they're not out. It's on Amazon. It's on the website for Black Rose Writing is the publisher. Okay. It's on Goodreads. And Goodreads, I have scads of reviews I've done of other books if anyone's interested in, the other books that I like. Oh, and I also want to mention that runners might enjoy the story too. So you can see this is Amber. She's out running. And that's one of the things she does to stay sane. So if you're a runner, you might also enjoy the story, or any kind of active person.
And are you a runner yourself, or?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So you've brought some of that into. I've always been told, write about what you know. So you've obviously brought a lot of that into this book, which is wonderful. Oh, well, this is amazing. I've really enjoyed our time together. And I'm wondering, Wendy, before we part ways, is there anything additional you want to share with anybody about your book or about yourself?
Let's see. I guess I could emphasize that there's help for folks if they read it and it gets to the heart a little too close. The local crisis centers are amazing. They have people that can help. They have people that can direct you towards resources, or just be an ear on the phone. So maybe I wanted to bring that up. Otherwise, your local shelters, near and dear to my heart. Take part in that. They have a wonderful run walk where they bring their animals with them. The dogs come, and that's so much fun.
Yeah, and I agree. This time of year too, with the government shutdown, creating a ripple effect from before, and SNAP benefits, and just everything going on with the holidays. Things are really hard for pets and people right now. So I know there's a number of local rescues in New Hampshire that have food pantry programs, and a lot of the surplus they get also they send out to the local food banks. So if you're so inclined, supporting those organizations, we'd really appreciate it, as I know Wendy would as well. And then again, heading over to the Holiday Showcase at nhwritersproject.org and checking out Wendy's book, as well as all of our other author members who are being featured in our Holiday Showcase. So thank you for listening in today to us. We appreciate it. And Wendy, thanks again for being my guest. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Take care, everyone. We appreciate you watching.